Hello, fellow scapers, and welcome to the first of what is kind of a new type of video for me. Normally, I just post my progress updates on the hardcore, and we still have some progress updates on the hardcore to make a video on, but I have been very, very busy. So I wanted to get a video out still because it's been like a month since my last video, and I just really haven't had time, nearly as much time to play RuneScape or to edit the video, really, is the most important part. Editing takes forever. So I decided I wanted to still put a video out this week, though, so I'm coming out with a different type of video because it'll be way easier to edit and just throw out there and kind of give you guys a heads up that there is still another hardcore episode coming, and you might see some flashes of just random content I'm doing in the background while I'm talking about this. So you'll see a little bit of it in this video, but I'll do a full hardcore video, hopefully getting that out by next week is my hope. So this should be just a quick filler, I think, but that was kind of a long ramble at the beginning, but so what is this video going to be about then? I've always kind of had this thought, an idea for a video in RuneScape that I think I kind of like that I don't know that anybody has out there. And it's going to be just me being very honest and authentic, almost like a fireside chat. We're just going to chat about life. And I'm going to be very honest and authentic about, just kind of what's going on right now. And yeah, I don't know what really compels me to do this. Actually, I do actually. I think it's just connection in general. I think, over my life, over the past 6 to 8 months, I've really been focusing on like, what do I find as the meaning of life or my life? What is going to get me true happiness? I think ultimately for me, what it comes down to is understanding deeply that what I value most and think is like our reason to be on this planet is the human connections we make, both, on like a community level and a more intimate level, just all types of human connections. So I've been really focusing on trying to foster the connections I have and grow new connections. And also, as the title says, talk to more women because, girls are eating up my RuneScape time is the title of this. And that's very true. So if some of you paid enough attention in my last hardcore's life, when it died at the end of the video, I talked very briefly about how I was going through a breakup and I was not in a good mental state, and that is why I died on the old hardcore. And I truly believe that, if you're not mentally in a good spot, you should not be playing something that one mistake will get you killed because you just, you're being more reckless, not paying attention, whatever. But, so since that breakup, it wasn't anything major. There was nothing really wrong with us, no major drama. It just, we weren't going on the same paths. We're very different people, and we just have, I think we need different things out of our partners. So I'm not bitter about the relationship, which you really shouldn't be bitter about old relationships. Eventually you should be able to process them and understand that human interactions can get ugly, and sometimes they do, and it's not always going to work the first try, but it doesn't mean that it was bad or that you couldn't learn something from it. So anyways, so since we broke up, I've just been like focusing on just better mental health and trying to like really deeply understand my meaning and purpose here. And something I value very much is relationships. I've had a lot of them, and I've realized, and none of them have been healthy. Well, that's not true. I had one that I would say was healthy. I dated this girl for about a year, and we both peacefully broke up, and remained friends for a while. I haven't talked to her for a while, but I still think she's a very awesome person and would consider her a friend still if she ever reached out and needed help or anything. So maybe that one good, healthy relationship when I was younger is enough that I have had faith that I can find other ones that will be good. But other than that, all my other past relationships were really toxic, very unhealthy. I never had issues really finding relationships whenever I was ready to look for one, but I've never been able to notice red flags, I guess, or even just differences. And I've been trying to deeply understand myself and realize that, like, you should not be bitter about these relationships and like blame it on the woman and be like, why was this awful? Like, why was she awful to me? And, maybe she did awful things to you for sure, because humans can do awful things to each other. But like, what part of this could I control that would have led to a better outcome? And me really critically thinking about it is, if you guys have ever taken any of those personality tests, like online, that show what type of person you are, in the category that whatever it's called that's about compassion, I always score in like the top 1 percentile. So I'm like super, super compassionate, which is a good thing and a bad thing if you don't understand it very well. And for me, it was bad in a relationship sense because I would get into relationships with the first girl that was into me usually. And even if there were like certain red flags, like because I'm so compassionate, like I can easily find ways to love anybody, which is a good and a bad thing. I think it's valuable, but it also means that you might end up getting into relationships that probably aren't going to be good for you because you kind of look over red flags. And there was plenty of times where if I really truly think about some of these relationships, like I remember interactions or conversations I would have with my past girlfriends where I would, now looking back now, I would say there were gut moments where my gut told me this wasn't good. But my heart would always override, and the compassion part would take over. And I'd be like, well, but X, Y, and Z, maybe it's not a big deal. We can work through it. And ultimately, I'm realizing, especially with the way that I am, that I need to focus more on my gut when those things happen, and not so much my heart. So I've been really working a lot on trying to make sure I'm mentally prepared for that before I look for another relationship. And that took me a long time to get mentally there. And I, over the last couple months, have been watching a ton of self-help videos on YouTube. There's two channels that I really love to watch right now. One is The Diary of a CEO, and I'll put a link to his channel below, but he just interviews a ton of really smart people that mainly focus on self-help. And he's just a fantastic interviewer. There's a lot of good knowledge you can take from his videos and his interviews. A lot of those episodes really helped me kind of get a better understanding of me and who I am, and being comfortable with that and understanding it deeply and intimately, because I think I need to if I want to find healthier relationships. So that's been great for that. But the one thing that I still was still challenging for me was feeling ready for another intimate relationship, looking for another girlfriend. I just still could not get over the hurdle where I felt compelled to go out and try and find a girlfriend, or even, yeah, anything like that. And it was very difficult for me to mentally overcome the idea of like trying to find another relationship, because I was afraid. I think there's a mental block because I was afraid of, like, I know how easy I can love anybody, and it always hurts when you love the wrong person and it ends. Even if it doesn't end horribly, like, it's still a painful, not fun experience. And I think deep down I was afraid of that again. And I found this other YouTube channel that really helped me kind of get over that feeling as well. It's called The Natural Lifestyles. And this guy is kind of like he has a bunch of YouTube videos on like how to pick up women, or even, like a sex coach a lot as well. But he also has a lot of really good little tidbits on like healthy relationships, a little bit on life as well. And I kind of resonate a lot with his videos. But watching a lot of his really kind of opened my eyes to, I guess, my own masculinity in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like the biggest reason I have had so many bad relationships is because, probably like most of the guys watching this video, you're playing RuneScape. If you're single, you're probably more introverted and don't approach women very often. And I'm definitely in that camp. I'm very introverted, never liked approaching women at all. And I feel like I never really understood my own masculinity in a lot of ways. And watching his videos has helped me a ton with that. And just kind of living through some of the principles in both of those, all the videos I've been watching, like, I'm putting myself out there in a much healthier way now. And I don't know, it gives you a confidence that, well, one, now that I'm like, I feel more comfortable with who I am as a man, like, it's so much easier to approach women and know how to approach them right, and be okay with rejection if they don't, because there's so many people on this planet, not everybody is going to be meant for each other. And the only way to find a great match is to put yourself out there as much as possible. And it's a numbers game, just kind of work through the numbers, and it was never a mentality I had in life, even though I felt, before I was more, what's the right word? Not jaded, but I guess I'll use jaded. I was more jaded about the idea that you kind of had to go chase women as a man. I didn't like it. It didn't feel right to me, but I think I just needed to reframe it in my mind because it doesn't have to be a weird thing or like a creepy thing or even like disingenuine thing. Like you should always be genuine with these women you're approaching. It doesn't have to be like sneaky where you're lying to her to try and like secretly kiss her while she's not looking or something creepy, like it's very consensual. And it like if she doesn't reciprocate and she's like, sorry, get away from me, creepy dude, be like, oh, that's okay, totally fine. I understand the signals, I'll get out of this situation. Whatever. And you just move on to the next one. But yeah, so that's kind of long story short. That's why I haven't had a lot of RuneScape time lately, because I've been out just talking to a bunch of random strangers, men and women, and trying to start. I'm excited to start looking for another partner again, and I'm not even like sure if the next one is going to be my life partner or not, and I'm totally okay with that. And I think it's a very good, healthy spot that I'm at mentally regarding relationships. And I'm actually like, every time I go out to try and cold approach girls or go out to dinner with random strangers and there's a girl I'm, having great conversation with, like anytime I'm in those situations now, it feels so natural and comfortable, and I'm not afraid to like put myself out there and ask for her number, say she looks cute or whatever, and show that I'm interested and that I want to meet up with her later, take her on a date, Yeah, and I never thought it was something I would want to do or enjoy doing at all. And now I love it. It's like going so well after like you get yourself in the right mental headspace. So yeah, that's what's been going on. The hardcore is still definitely getting a good amount of love, though. We've made a ton of progress, and I am excited to hopefully get the episode out next week. Hopefully we'll still be alive by then, but spoiler alert, we're not dead yet. So, but we have made a ton of progress. I'm not going to spoil it really yet, but hopefully I'll get that video out by next week. But I just wanted to, kind of fill you guys in on where I've been at and why it kind of has been taking me a while to upload videos. I'm still loving the hardcore. Ironically, actually, like having this healthier balance of social life and me time has made me love RuneScape way more, because now that it feels like there's more of a scarcity to it, like I just want to play it all the time. Whereas when you're playing it all the time, sometimes you could be like, this is kind of boring, and it's unhealthy if you do anything way too much, unless you're, making oodles of money as a streamer or something. So now that I have kind of a better balance, I'm not playing quite as much, unfortunately, but I am super, super enjoying all of the time I'm playing. And I mean, I don't get me wrong, I'm still playing a ton. I'm a single dude with a easy job that's not very many hours, so like I have a lot of time to play, but not quite enough where I can keep up with the videos and everything right now. So yeah, I guess that'll be it. I've been rambling for a while here. I don't want these to be super long episodes, but yeah, I think if I ever feel like talking about anything again, I'll try and do this again if this is well received. But if not, who knows? Maybe this will be a one of one episode. But if there's any of you guys that kind of feel like you're in that rut and you're wanting a partner, but you don't know how to do it or how to approach women or anything, definitely watch The Natural Lifestyles. It's phenomenal. But it's also super, super important first to get your head right. Make sure you're mentally in the right spot. So maybe start with some Diary of a CEO videos or, whatever experts you want to look for to, make sure you're mentally grounded and in the right spot. But that doesn't mean you have to be perfect before you start looking for love, because that's something I've been guilty of a lot in the past, is feeling the pressure to be perfect before you start looking. And that's not true at all, but you do need to be in the right headspace. So if you guys are still watching, awesome. I appreciate you sticking around, and I wish the best for everybody. And I will hopefully have the next video out next week. See you guys then.